Welcome, Corepunk fans. So today I'm going to be talking about the Warmonger class. So I'm going to look at the three different weapon specializations that the Warmonger can use. But before I do start talking about the Warmonger, I'm going to ask you to maybe consider subscribing to this channel, because subscribing means that you will not miss out on the latest news, tips, tricks and guides for Corepunk. Okay, Warmonger. So only the strongest of the orcs can become a Warmonger. Hardened by innumerable battles, they won't be stopped by any threat. With countless combats under their belt, Warmonger is a skilled warrior, fearing neither pain nor death itself. They can bring down enemies with suppressive heavy fire or hold the front line with a spear and shield. And if necessary, Warmonger can summon a forest beast to help them. So the first weapon spec that you can pick from is the Legionary. Legionaries are tank heroes who fight with a shield and a spear. They specialize in controlling enemies. They can stun and slow an enemy with their mighty strikes and blows and make them vulnerable to their abilities. Their ultimate ability enables them to easily withstand a lot of damage. So the Q ability, Warmonger smashes the enemies in front of them with their shield, dealing physical damage. The strike knocks enemies back and makes them vulnerable. If the ability hits an enemy casting a spell, the ability is interrupted and goes on cooldown. The Warmonger's W ability, the Warmonger throws the nearest ally or enemy to the target area. All enemies in that area take physical damage. The tossed enemy also takes damage and stuns all vulnerable enemies within the landing area. Ally doesn't take damage. The E ability, Warmonger readies and throws a spear in the target direction. Throw gains extra range and damage the longer Warmonger spends preparing to launch the spear. It deals physical damage to all enemies in its path and slows them. If the spear hits a vulnerable enemy, it taunts them, forcing to attack Warmonger for 2 seconds. The R ability, Warmonger removes all crowd control effects on himself for 5 seconds. They take reduced damage, gain bonus movement speed and bonus crowd control reduction. Warmonger restores a portion of their health on an enemy kill or assist. And for the special ability, each time Warmonger hits the target with the ability, they gain 5 armor and 5 magic resistance for 10 seconds. The effect stacks up to 5 times. 20% of Warmonger's armor and magic resistance is converted into bonus attack power. Warmonger deals bonus physical damage to targets under the effects of crowd control. The next weapon spec is Commando. Commandos are ranged heroes, excellent minigun shooters. Their heavy fire penetrates enemies' armor, their poor mobility and long reload time is balanced with their ability to deal heavy damage within a short period of time. So for the Q ability, Warmonger fires a torrent of shots from their minigun at the target direction for 3 seconds. Every 0.5 seconds, all enemies hit take physical damage. While shooting, Warmonger can still move. The improvement element of this ability, critical strike chance, is increased by 10%. For the W ability, Warmonger throws a smoke canister dealing physical damage to an area. Enemies have their sight range reduced, and while they're in the range of smoke, their movement speed is reduced by 50%. The improvement element on this particular ability, all enemies hit are rooted. For the E ability, Warmonger fires a piercing shell in the target direction, hitting all enemies in its path. Enemies take physical damage and armor reduction debuff for 5 seconds, and the effect stacks up to 3 times. The improvement element on this ability, critical damage power is increased by 50%. Enemies are knocked back and get the maximum amount of armor reduction stacks. For the R ability, Warmonger places a tripod and mounts a minigun on the ground. The damage they deal increases, their abilities are improved and have increased range. While the minigun is fixed on the tripod, Warmonger can't move. When Warmonger recasts the ability, they uninstall the tripod and pick up the minigun. And the special ability, Warmonger has no cooldown on abilities, but they consume 1 ammo. Warmonger has 4 ammo in stock. The minigun fires at a fixed rate. Warmonger reloads the minigun upon activating the special ability. Reload time is 4 seconds. And the final weapon spec is the Shaman. So the Shaman are melee fighters coming from a kindred of orcs who can talk with animal spirits and command the elements. They wield different types of fist weapons to devastating effects. Their basic attacks will mark their enemies, and the mark can empower the Shaman's other abilities. For the Q ability, the Warmonger leaps toward a target and deals physical damage. The next 4 basic attacks debuff the enemy, reducing their armor and magic resistance for 6 seconds. The effect stacks up to 4 times. A mark reduces enemies' movement speed by 50%. For the W, Warmonger increases theirs and their summoned wolf's attack speed and movement speed for 7 seconds. For the E ability, Warmonger hits a target with a lightning bolt that bounces 3 times to nearby enemies, dealing magic damage. A mark stuns an enemy for 2 seconds. For the R ability, Warmonger summons the wolf to fight for Warmonger. Wolf's health, armor and magic resistance equals 50% of Warmonger's attributes. Wolf deals physical damage. When the wolf dies, Warmonger suffers 20% of their maximum health, then the ability goes on cooldown. Upon recast, if you're targeting the enemy, it makes the wolf bite the target, dealing bonus magic damage every 4 basic attacks. If the wolf bites a marked enemy, the wolf restores Warmonger's health in an amount equal to the damage dealt and taunts the enemy, forcing them to attack the wolf. By targeting the Warmonger, it makes the wolf come back to the Warmonger, and targeting the wolf makes Warmonger sacrifice a portion of their own health to the wolf. And finally, the special ability. Basic attacks grant a stack up to 5 times. Each stack increases the attack speed by 5%. At max stacks, the next basic attack deals bonus magic damage and marks the enemy, empowering Warmonger's abilities. So that is everything we currently know about Warmonger. Now, I'm quite interested by this class. It does seem kind of quirky and something that would appeal to me. But what about you? Can you see yourself as playing one of these Warmonger specs? And if so, which one? Let me know in the comments. And if you've made it this far, then maybe I've earned your subscription. If you're a returning subscriber, then thank you. I appreciate you so much. And if you're new, why don't you stick around and see what else I've got to come? Okay, I'll see you in the next one. Take care and goodbye.